This palette is called Woodland, and the inspiration really is coming from what the name says. Something of where the forest, so there's bark, there's leaves, there's water, and this is how I was inspired to do this palette to start with. This is kind of a Uzbekian nomadic tribe motif, mixing it with a stripe. We move on to, a neutral solid, almost as if like the leaves are turning brown. This pattern tells the whole story. You have the blue, the green, the browns. It's very multicolored. And you can mix it with a stripe and another texture. So there's a room. Now we're moving into a color palette that I call Lamb's Ear. Now that is a little ground cover. It's very fuzzy. This is somewhat of a rug motif, almost a Navajo rug motif, as opposed to a flame stitch. But it's a beautiful soft palette, mixing with a stripe and a little texture, and you can kind of see lamb's ear if you know the foliage. And then the very next palette here is called Willow. Now I've taken the green and neutral palette and just softened it down even softer and paler. So this design, which you saw in Woodland, is now colored into this soft palette. This color palette is called Nimbus. It's named after the cloud. It introduces cocoa with off-white and a very soft gray blue. I want to point out this tapestry. It's a coarse weave. It has a lot of bulk to it, and if you close your eyes you can feel the texture. And this particular fabric has the slightest bit of sparkle to it. You can see the little metallic. And this is another trend that we're seeing these days. I'm now going to move to our color palette called Bar Harbor. My inspiration here, believe it or not, was a lighthouse, a photograph of a lighthouse with the blue of the ocean in the sky, and there was a plank that led up to the lighthouse that was rust. Here you have a little iridescence in the fabric. You saw this fabric already in a light gray, but you can see how now, with rust and blue, that it becomes a very leather-friendly fabric. We have to design fabrics that go with leather because that's a huge part of the market these days, where someone has a leather sofa and they want a pillow accent or a chair that goes with it. Here, the next color palette is called Indigo, and that's a very classic white, ivory white, and indigo blue combination. This is higher end in the marketplace. We're mixing the mid-scale with the texture and the larger scale motif. And here's another little tiny motif design.